Hey you guys, I'm Jonas.
Hi, I'm Jackie.
And we want to welcome you to another Wednesday Night Live here with us at 15minute.fitness. This is part 3 of our 3-part metabolic series. You guys asked for this and we're bringing it to you, doing a deep dive into metabolic slowdown and adaptation. So let's kind of recap what we've been through so far.
So the first thing we talked about was what is a broken metabolism. We're very clear that it's not broken. It is an adapted metabolism. It means your metabolism has adapted to its new calorie level and it can be fixed.
Right, there is no such thing as permanent metabolic damage. That's a myth that science has busted. So the second thing we looked at after we looked at what is what are the effects of it? And remember, it was difficulty losing weight, poor energy, lack of sex drive and sexual ability, and perhaps menstrual cycles that are thrown off course. Also, just feeling run down and poor hormone levels that are in the tank, making a really poisonous cocktail for your body to live in.
The next thing that we talked about was what are the causes? What causes a broken metabolism? What causes it to adapt? And we talked about 3 main things: over-exercising, under-eating, and your hormones, which can all be a what did you call it?
A poisonous
cocktail. Yeah. Because the over-exercising and the under-eating can affect the hormones.
Yeah, they all feed off each other and just they create an overall environment that is distinctly unhealthy, and it makes it impossible for you to make progress. Okay, so after looking at what is a broken metabolism, an adaptive metabolism, what are the effects, what causes it, now tonight we're here to kind of wrap this up with how do you know if you have an adaptive metabolism, and what can you do about it if you do? All right, so let's jump right into how do you know? How on earth do you know? Well, first of all, if you have been in a caloric deficit, meaning eating a low-calorie diet for a prolonged period of time, and you are ceasing to lose fat weight, you are ceasing to lose body fat, then you can be quite sure that you have an adaptive metabolism. Your metabolism has adapted to that low-calorie level that you've been feeding it. You have taught it to exist and survive very well at a low-calorie level. All right. Number 2, energy levels. Are you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed all the time, or are you run down, tired, and just hating life? Crabby with a crabby disposition, all of that. That is a pretty sure sign that your metabolism is in the tank, right? That you are running behind. You're behind the 8 ball. You are under the bus. All right. Sex drive. Okay. So this is in tandem with hormone levels and energy levels, but especially hormone levels. If you have lost your previous interest in sex, if you have lost your sex drive, if you have lost your previous ability to perform, and for ladies, especially if your menstrual cycle has been irregular for a little while, there are real reasons for that tied to an adaptive metabolism and your hormone levels, basically. Also, you might take a blood test, okay? You might, next time you go to the doctor and he orders a full metabolic panel, a blood metabolic panel, it might show elevated cortisol, it might show low thyroid, it might show, if you're a guy, low testosterone, actually if you're a woman too, okay? And maybe your estrogen testosterone ratio balance is off kilter. Those are also pretty sure signs that your metabolism, that you are suffering from an adaptive metabolism. And finally, if you are always hungry, if you're not just hungry, you're hangry, right? That's a result of hormones, ghrelin and leptin, that signal hunger, and they are super elevated when your metabolism adapts over time in a caloric deficit. Those are pretty sure signs. So if you suffer from any of those, what on earth do you do? Or are you just stuck? How do you get out of this mess?
Well, you're not stuck. Luckily, we can fix an adaptive metabolism. A couple of stories. Last week, we talked a little bit about Julie. One of our first clients, she came to us eating 900 calories a day and doing hours of cardio every morning before her family woke up, and she was not losing weight. She had gotten stuck. Luckily, when Julie came to us, we knew exactly what was wrong, and we fixed her metabolism and got her to a point where she was only exercising 15 minutes a day, and she was able to eat 2,100 calories a day and maintain her weight.
Sure enough. Yeah. If you think about that real quick, just let me jump in. She had checked 3 of the boxes, right? She had been on a caloric deficit, a severe one, 900 calories, for a long time, a prolonged period of time. Number 2, she was exercising a lot, an hour and a half a day. Number 3, it was cutting into her sleep, her recuperative ability, because she would wake up extra early so she could exercise an hour and a half. So that's 3 check boxes right there, a very sure sign of an adapted metabolism.
Part of the reason we knew exactly what was going on and how to fix it was because I had gone through the same thing. I was a PE teacher for pre-K and kindergarten. So I got lots of steps every day, usually at least 15,000, sometimes up to 20,000 steps a day. I had cut my calories back to about 1,200 and was not losing any weight. I was also going to the gym a couple of times a week and lifting for about an hour at a time. Couldn't figure out why I was stuck. When I met Jonas, he was like, well, yeah, your metabolism's broke. You're not eating enough. And I'm like, oh, if I eat more, I'm going to gain weight. And he's like, no, you're exercising too much. You need to eat more. So we knew exactly what to do with Julie. So how do you fix it? You eat more. You eat the amount of calories that your body needs. It's scary at first. You might gain a pound or 2, but your body needs the nutrition.
Yeah, let me jump in here real quick. This is the only way out of the corner that you painted yourself into. I wish I could tell you that, you can take a magic pill and it'll fix your metabolism and you can just continue losing weight again, break through that plateau that you've experienced. The only way out of a severe caloric deficit that's gone on for a long time is to eat at maintenance or even a slight caloric surplus. That's the only way out. You have to heal this. There is no other way out.
The next thing you have to do is stop all the aerobic exercise. For most of us, it is way too much. We're doing way more than our body needs. Our body needs, we need to take it easy on our bodies. Our body doesn't need that many extra steps and that much extra cardio every day.
Remember, if you watched episode number 2, we talked about systemic fatigue versus local fatigue. Local fatigue being like if you're doing strength training instead of biceps curls, well, your biceps gets very fatigued. But in a couple of minutes, it's good to go again. Systemic fatigue is what you get from aerobic exercise, where your entire body is run down and tired. And that takes a lot longer to dig out of, to heal up from, than local fatigue. So if you're doing lots and lots of cardio, then it's very likely that your body is experiencing extreme systemic fatigue and you need to lay off.
Next way to fix your metabolism is to get that local fatigue. Build your muscles. Muscles burn way more calories than the fat on your body does. Building muscle will help burn that fat off of your body.
Think about it like this. What is fat? Fat is just a reserve. It's just a storage tank for energy. That's all it is. It's like a jerry can full of gas. It doesn't do anything. Muscle, on the other hand, is your motor. It is always active. It is even at idle. It is burning gasoline. Okay? They're 2 completely different bodily systems. Two completely different bodily systems. Fat does nothing. It's metabolically efficient. It takes little or nothing to maintain your fat mass. Muscle mass, on the other hand, the more you have of it, the more calories you burn at rest. That is the whole premise behind us trying to build muscle, to raise our resting metabolic rate, to be lean for life, and be able to eat good amounts of food.
The last part to help fix your metabolism is recovery. So not only do you need to lessen your amount of cardio, you need to increase the amount of sleep you get. Your body and your muscles need to rest. They need to recover. If you are stressed, you need to take steps and measures to find a way to reduce some of that stress on your body.
You guys, I can't emphasize enough how important recovery is. I mean, if you are exercising at all, that is a stress on your body. If you are dieting, that is a stress on your body. If you are living real life that we all live, that is a stressor on your body and your mind and your spirit too. Okay, just in a biological sense though, for your body, physiologically, you've got to recover. You've got to manage. You've got to balance the stressors that you put on your body with your ability to recover. That's primarily through sleep, but also nutrition. And your recovery is far less when you're on a diet, when you're in a caloric deficit. Your recovery gets very small. So that doesn't mean just exercise more. That's the exact opposite. You've got to balance. You got to balance your recovery with your exercise. Yeah. So look, you guys, it's almost like, okay, there's two different ways you can look at this. We're telling you, how do you get out? Well, you have to eat again. You have to slowly raise your calories up. Kind of, we call it a reverse diet. We slowly raise your calories up to where your maintenance level should be. Okay. If you jump straight up to it from where you are right now, you're liable to put on some fat mass. So you want to kind of slowly raise your metabolism up. Sorry, your calories up, and then maintain that over a period of time. Okay. This is the only way to heal your metabolism, to rev it back up and get it ready for a successful diet going forward. You have to adapt it not to low calories like you have been doing it, but you have to adapt it to high calories. That way, when you go on a diet and chop some calories out, it actually has an effect, right? It's been used to running at high calories for a while. Boom, chop some calories, and all of a sudden, hey, you start losing fat again. It's a wonderful cycle. So there's a couple ways you can think about this. Number one, a negative way. Okay, you know, I'm a professor at college, and I see students, freshmen, come in every semester, and they're just crestfallen when they find out they have to do remedial courses, right? Their scores aren't high enough in mathematics or writing or whatever, and they have to take some remedial courses. Really, I have to do a whole semester without college credit? Yeah, you do. Just in order to go back and shore up those deficiencies so that you can have a successful college career. Okay? Think of it as building a launch pad from which you can then go on and take advanced courses. That's one way to look at it, is a period of remediation. Here's a positive way to look at it. Do you know what elite athletes call their off-season? They call it an improvement phase. All right? And bodybuilders especially. Their off-season, when they're not competing, is called an improvement phase. That's when they're building their bodies. Okay? The diet is simply where they wash off body fat to reveal what they've built. If you haven't taken the time to build anything, what are you going to reveal when the fat comes off? A skeleton? Okay? It's very important. So I encourage you, look at this as a time for improvement. This is a time when I can put on some muscle, where I can get those curves and that shape and that tone that I want. And then when I have a successful diet period and wash off some of that body fat, I reveal something worth looking, something worth having. I've built something that looks good and something that's healthy, something that's strong and something that has energy and vitality. This is what we're all about here, you guys. This is our approach, and this is what we want for you. And we have helped countless clients, dozens of clients, people you probably know, to do exactly this. And we're helping them right now. And we can help you too. We would really love to talk to you and to get a chance to do exactly this. If you are in the tank, if your metabolism is tanked, if you've dieted for, 6 weeks or 6 months and you've stopped making progress, let's do a metabolic priming phase. Let's do a metabolic reboot and then do a diet on the other end of that and see what happens. Okay? It happens over and over again. Correct?
Correct. Right? You guys, we can do this with only 15 minutes of exercise a day.
Yep.
And we can fit the things you still love to eat into your diet.
Right.
Okay? We encourage you to go to our website, 15minute.fitness. We have different programs that are available. They are tailored to the amount of help and the amount of support that you need. Okay, from basic to one-on-one help.
Yeah. Whatever you need, we've got a level of service available for you. And look, we don't live on salad and rice cakes. We don't pass up an occasional beer every now and then, and we don't spend hours in the gym. We stand against all of that. It can fit into real life. Let us show you how.
All right. Also follow us on Facebook for tips and support on your journey. All right. We love helping parents and families. That's the best part. When parents get their kids involved. We love helping parents and families live a healthier life.
Yeah, that's why we're here. I want to tell you, we love you, and we thank you so much for allowing us to be a small part of your life. And we will see you again on next Wednesday Night Live. Good night, you guys.
Good night.